when I refer to they, it is the subconscious. Because when they are speaking about the person in the third person, they will often use the word we. We do this and we say this. So I've learned to say they so that I can identify with them. They have told me that if we can get to the person before they have an operation, there is a chance that we can fix the problem and they won't have to have the operation. Now this is drastic, and I know a lot of people are not going to believe it, but they said once something has been taken out, we can't put it back. But we can find the cause of the problem before they have the operation. In many cases, we can alleviate it. But when I was speaking in England and I was going to give my class, they told me, don't use the word cure. That word is not allowed over there. We can't say that this technique will cure illnesses. But that is exactly what it does. But I guess I might get it here, too, with the Medical Association if I say that. So I'm going to have to just leave it up to the people to make up their own minds, especially when they start understanding how powerful their own mind is, that they may be able to understand how they can control the things that are going on in their own life. Take charge. Take the power back to where we can live a good life without having to worry about illness. This is what I'm trying to get people to look at. Look at their own body and their physical problems in a different way. But I have found many cases when people come to me, tell me they're having problems in different parts of their body. I can usually tell them what's going on in their present day life because the subconscious is very literal. It will affect different parts of the body the same way over and over again. It is very literal in what it's trying to tell you. But, being humans, we don't know this, we don't pay attention to it, we don't understand it. To give some examples, I have many people who, as they come in, we do our interview and I ask about their lives, what's going on in their lives, about their family members, and then they have a list of questions, and usually we will get to if they have any physical problems that they want to explore while we're having this session. Many times they will tell me they have back problems, either across the shoulders, have pains there, up and down the spine. It's very common to have middle back and lower back problems. This is very common. I get a lot of people like this, and I know it's because of the hectic lifestyle that we live in. But when the person tells me they have back problems, the first thing I will ask them, do you feel like you're carrying a heavy load in this life? And usually they'll say, well, yes, I didn't even think about that. They've got, lots going on in their work, in their marriages, and it is affecting them in their back. I've had many people like this. I even had an emergency room doctor that came to me, and it was her problem. And whenever it came out under the session, it was being caused by a heavy load of pressure because she had the feeling she should be able to save everyone she works with, which is absolutely impossible. She was putting too much pressure on herself. I've had businessmen who've come to see me, and they are definitely carrying too much of a load. They're putting too much on them with their work, with the responsibilities, and it starts affecting the parts of the back. So this is what I mean about it being literal. People come, many of them talk about having hip problems and pains going down the leg, especially on the right side, down on the hip and down the leg into the foot. And this is happening more and more. And when I get people like that, I have found it usually means they have been offered a choice in their life. They can go in a different direction if they want to, but sometimes they're very, not so much happy, but let's say they are content, wouldn't even be the right word, but their way of life is predictable and it's stable. They would rather stay with what they know than wander off into the unknown. So they may be being offered a new direction, a new way to go, maybe a new job, maybe a marriage, who knows. But they're being offered another direction. They are holding back. They are afraid to take the first step out in the new direction. This creates pains in the hip and the leg and the foot, especially on the right side. And that's what usually I can ask them, is there anything going on in your life right now that you feel you're being offered another direction and you're holding back? And usually that's what will come out is, oh yes, but they have not made the connection. But see what I mean about the subconscious being very literal in the message that it's trying to tell you. And once the message is delivered and they understand what it is, and we find this out during the session, once they find out what it is the subconscious is trying to tell them, the ailment goes away. And sometimes it's miraculous the way it goes away so suddenly. Because why try keep giving a message when it's already been delivered and understood? I have people who are in stomach problems, and it'll boil down to something's going on in their life they cannot stomach. See here again, the subconscious is very literal. People with problems, aches and pains in their hand and wrist, I found out sometimes they're holding on to something that they don't need in their life anymore. And they should release it and let it go. So some of these things, these people have never thought about this before. It's a whole new concept, because why would somebody make themselves sick? Now there's some people who, even though they discover these things, they really don't want to be well. They don't want to be cured. They don't want to be healed. And I'm sure a lot of you know of these kind of people. You probably have them in your own life. Some people, their illness, their problem, their ailment is all they have. They don't have anything else. Sometimes this is what gives them attention, makes you feel sorry for them, makes them special if you have someone paying attention. In a case like that, you see why they have created the ailment. But in a case like that, if they were to remove the ailment, they wouldn't have anything. So in those cases, they will cling to it even though it is not in their best good, and they just keep getting sicker. So we can't help everyone. In my work with the books on Jesus, when I'll be thinking about that too in the weeks to come, on the missing years of Jesus and the parts of his life that no one knows about, I found that even Jesus couldn't heal everyone, because he could look at them and see if it was part of their karma to be healed or not. In a case like that, you cannot interfere with a person's karma, and he knew this. He couldn't take it away. The most he could do in those cases was to help alleviate pain. So when I've had cases that I can't help, I always remember that. Even Jesus couldn't heal everyone. But we do the best we can. We try the best we can. A lot of physical problems are caused by stress, and the doctors are finally realizing this. Heart problems, blood pressure are caused by the stress in the person's life, and once they learn to calm down, meditation is wonderful. I highly recommend people to learn meditation because it's so good at calming the body down. We're living in such hectic times right now. But a lot of the cancer cases I've found is caused by stress and also by suppressed anger. Sometimes people are angry at something in their life. They can't talk to anyone. They can't express their feelings. They hold it inside. It'd be really good if they could talk to someone, but sometimes they feel they can't. Some men feel macho that they can't express their feelings to anyone. You know the type, and they hold this inside their body. Well, they're holding this suppressed anger, these suppressed emotions. It begins to churn around inside the body, especially in the intestinal area. And as it does this, holding this suppressed anger, eventually it can turn into cancer because it has no release, and it eventually begins to eat away at the organs. And here again, I know some people are going to say they don't believe these things I'm saying, but this is what I have discovered, and as a reporter and investigator, I just report what I have found. Maybe people can take this and use it. I hope they can. But karma is very important in this also, because you build up karma with people. We carry around so much baggage and garbage. A lot of people do. They hang on to things that should be let go a long time ago. Things that we don't need to carry around with us. Resentment, hate, anger towards someone else. It's not hurting them as much as it's hurting yourself. There was one man that I had come to me who had cancer in all different parts of his body. As soon as the doctors could fix it in one part, make it go away, it would come up in another part of his body. And it just kept moving from part to part. So I asked him, what about your personal life? Is there anything going on in there that you have anger with? He says, oh yes, my ex-wife. He said, I hate her. He said, she has the children, I can't see them, and I absolutely hate her. Can you see what he was doing? He was holding all of this inside. And I told him, according to what I have found, he wasn't going to get well until he released these feelings. He had to let it go, let it go. And, of course, that means forgiveness. He had to forgive the first wife and let it go and not hold on to this and want to have the anger there. And I told him this, you're going to have to let it go. You're going to have to forgive her. He said, I can't. You don't know what she has done to me. He said, if I do that, then she has won. Well, she will win if you die. So you see, holding on to these emotions, we think we're getting back at the other person. We're actually hurting ourselves. And it does begin to eat on the inside, and it will cause problems. This is part of the garbage and the baggage that we carry around, and we don't need this. We're hurting ourselves more than we're hurting the other person. This is part of what it's all about. We have to let go of the karma. We have to try to work out all of the old karma and try not to make any more. Otherwise, you're going to have to come back and do it again with the same person all over again. You don't get out of it until you have worked it out. Earth is a school, and you are taking classes. You are going through grades in this school. In this class, in this school, you can't skip grades, but you can fail and have to take